What would you do if fear was not a factor? Why are you here? How can you make a difference? I have some thoughts about that next. Hi, I'm Heidi Tucker, award-winning inspirational author and speaker. Welcome to the Pickled Sunflower, where we can come together, make a connection, and find hope. You know, everybody has a calling. We are all here to make a difference in some way. It doesn't have to be really big, but we do have a calling, each of us, and it's very individual to each of us. It's your job to figure that out. Once you do, you know that you're on the right track, and it can be very rewarding. But first, I want to talk about why that's so difficult. I think there's two reasons. Number one, self-sabotage. We have this feeling that we're not enough. We're not educated enough. We're not smart enough. We're not pretty enough, right? It's easy to see talents in others that we don't see in ourselves. And so we just wreck our own self-confidence all by ourselves. Number two, sabotage by others. From the time that we were little, or maybe as adults, there has been something that somebody has said to you, whether it's family or friends or someone that you highly respect, that said something to you that makes you wonder whether you should really do this because you're not good enough. That might be something like as simple as, I want to be an author or I want to be a writer, and someone says to you, well, that would be a great hobby, but you could never make a living at that. You know, that can creep back in later and really sabotage your efforts. We internalize that voice, and sometimes they come forward to haunt us. Even if that voice isn't there actively speaking to us, there can be some resistance. In fact, there always will be resistance. You are going to find a slammed door. There is going to be somebody that tells you no. And it's always going to be there, and it's going to come forward, and that self-sabotage or that criticism from someone else or that slammed door is going to make you think to yourself, I give up. I have felt all of that in my calling that I know is as an inspirational author. I have felt every one of those things that I have described. Yes, you will hear the sabotage, but no, don't let it internalize because they are lies. God would never put those negative thoughts in your mind. He wants nothing more than for you to succeed and for you to find and follow your calling so that you can really reach out and make a difference in the lives of others. So here's the really big question, right? How do I find my calling? Well, flip that around. It's going to find you. Isn't that crazy to think about it that way? But it's true. You need to open yourself up, and the hardest part is recognizing it when it happens. You have been through some really hard things in your life. You've been in some dark places, right? You've been under terribly difficult circumstances. You've learned in the ditches. Maybe that's what you can use now to pay it forward and to really use that to find your calling and to make a difference in someone else's life. Perhaps all that stuff that was so hard is actually sort of navigating you to that path to find your calling. Think about people that you might know, cancer survivors who now volunteer at cancer centers, who now volunteer as counselors, because they've been there, they've done that, and they want to help others who are going through the same thing. You may see counselors or teachers or things like that because they've felt that. They saw that someone made a difference in their life way back. Or you may have lived a really blessed life, and so you say to yourself, how can I pay that forward? I feel so blessed in so many ways. I know someone who does foster care because she wants to let children know who've been in broken homes what a solid, loving, comfortable family feels like. She wants them to feel that. Or you may say, I have always had a roof over my head. I want to help the homeless because they don't have a roof over their head. I want to pay that forward. So you find yourself volunteering. Maybe that's your calling, is to volunteer and make a difference at a homeless shelter. When you find your calling, you are offering hope to others because of something that you recognize about yourself. You've found that you have a unique gift, and you can use that to sort of pay it forward, make a difference, and serve someone else who's struggling in that same way that you once did. Ask God to help you find that, because sometimes it can be really difficult. We have to open up our hearts and our minds and be watching. And so if you pray about that and really ask to find your calling, be patient, because there may be some things that need to unravel, and there may be some other paths that need to join up to yours so that you recognize that. But I promise you that it will happen if you have that desire and you make it a matter of prayer. When you find your calling, you will know it. It just feels right. It feels like you've been called on a mission. There still may be some really hard things required for you in undertaking your calling, and those can be difficult. It's never easy, right? But you will have the passion to back it up, because you will just feel that in your heart and your soul, right down to your bones. You just know. So you'll push through the negativity. You'll push through the slammed doors. Be ready to inspire, to connect, to serve, and to help others. It can be a really gratifying feeling, and it also is doing an enormous amount of good for others. In my own calling, I feel like I have found that, because I am passionate about bringing light and hope into the world. And I do that through speaking and through writing books about the subject. You'll find those books linked in the description below if you'd like to take a look. And you can certainly contact me if you're interested in having me speak in person or through Zoom to your group. Don't forget to subscribe. I have so much more coming. I release new videos every Tuesday. See you next time here on the Pickled Sunflower.